Bro, so there's this one name that keeps getting brought up every single time Jaguar Wright opens her mouth about Diddy, and I promise you, by the end of this video, you're gonna understand why the internet cannot stop talking about it. No cap, this woman has been saying things about the industry for years that people laughed off. And now everybody's going back through her old interviews like they're prophecy. Stay with me because we're gonna break down exactly who she is, what she's actually said, and which A-listers keep getting pulled into this conversation. Here's where it gets crazy though, wait for it. Okay, so quick rundown for anyone who's not familiar. Jaguar Wright is a singer. She came up in the neo-soul scene in the early 2000s, worked with the Roots, and honestly, she was known in the industry way before any of this Diddy stuff. But over the last few years, she's basically rebranded herself as this fearless truth teller, going on podcast after podcast, making claims about powerful people in music. And listen, some people call her a whistleblower. Other people think she's just chasing clout off Diddy's downfall. Either way, bro, she is not backing down. And that's exactly why she's become one of the loudest voices in this entire saga. And it's not like she came out of nowhere with this either. Jaguar's been talking about shady stuff in the industry for over a decade at this point, way before Diddy's legal troubles ever became public. So when the case actually broke, a lot of people who already knew her from those older interviews were like, wait, she called this. So here's the thing. Once Diddy's legal situation blew up, Jaguar didn't just comment on it once and move on. She's been consistently vocal, interview after interview, painting this picture of an industry built on power, fear, and silence. She talks about how certain people in music knew things for years and just never said anything. And whenever she goes on these shows, the comment section explodes because she names names, she doesn't hold back, and she dares anybody to sue her over it. Now, separate from Jaguar's commentary, if you actually go back and look at the history of Diddy's parties, his white parties specifically, these were some of the most photographed, most talked about events in entertainment for like 2 decades. We're talking Hamptons, we're talking Miami, red carpets, paparazzi everywhere. Countless A-list women were photographed at these events over the years. It was basically a rite of passage in the industry to show up at one of his parties at some point. That part isn't speculation, bro. That's just documented entertainment history. Magazines covered these things for years. It was tabloid gold every single summer. You had Beyonce, J-Lo, Cassie, Janet Jackson, Kim Kardashian, Paris Hilton, and present at his parties over the years. And that's just naming a few.
Why don't you claim your friend? Claudia, you was Diddy girl. Corey was Jay-Z girl. When I say Corey, I'm talking about Kathy White.
Oh yeah, that's what I was about to ask.
Jay-Z's pregnant mistress,
yeah,
who died of an imaginary aneurysm, just like the woman who was best friends with Kim and Kimura, who wrote the book Bling and died as soon as it made the bestsellers list. Who the f was these people supposed to go to? Can't go to the authorities. They're all bought and paid for. Where the f you go when you get f***ed over by the industry? Nowhere. Which is where people like me step in. You right, I go to Diddy parties. So walk out!
So when Jaguar starts talking about the industry culture around Diddy, people connect it back to all that footage, all those old photos, and it just adds fuel to the fire. Every time an old party photo resurfaces online now, it gets reframed through this whole new lens. And that's honestly part of why this story just will not go away. The internet's reaction to Jaguar has honestly been split down the middle, no cap. You got one side that's like, she's been saying this stuff since before it was cool to say it. She deserves credit for speaking up when nobody else would. And then you got the other side going, okay, but where's the proof? Why does she never get sued if all this is true? That question actually comes up constantly in her comment sections. Wait for it, because Jaguar's response to that is always the same. She basically says if anybody wants to sue her over what she's saying, they're welcome to try. And bro, that response alone keeps going viral every time. People clip it and repost it constantly.
But have you ever been to a P. Diddy party?
Yeah, many, honestly.
And so, can you take us through, like, what goes on, like, when you were there?
What did I say when y'all asked me about why was the TD Jakes at the Diddy party?
Yeah.
What'd I say? Money and sex.
That's correct. Were you surprised that there were so many cameras in his houses?
No!
That he was recording these?
He is the J. Edgar Hoover of hip-hop.
Okay.
Y'all done seen him put on the pyramid with a skirt?
So let me ask you, when you hear that Cassie was told to hire male escorts to come and what they call freak-offs now, that's something normal that happens in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Freak-offs.
Hey.
Okay.
Everybody know that. I've been saying it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What? How many times I got these niggas is wild?
So do you feel like people, when they hear pink cocaine, Young Miami has to bring across? That's,
Right, the Tusi.
yeah, the Tusi. That's what they got.
I found out. I talked to my drug guy because I wanted to be informed. Because people was calling the Tusi, they was calling it the Tunchi. I didn't know which one it was. So I talked to my drug guy, and my drug guy filled me in.
You'll also see this weird divide where older heads in the industry kind of stay quiet on her. But a lot of younger commentators and podcast hosts keep inviting her back on because she guarantees views. Say what you want about the woman, she moves the needle every time she talks. Here's where it gets crazy though. During Diddy's actual criminal trial, some of what came out in Cassie Ventura's testimony, under oath, in a courtroom, not on a podcast, started lining up with the general picture Jaguar had been painting for years. Testimony about the culture around these parties, about people being afraid to speak out, about control and secrecy. That's when a lot of people who were skeptical of Jaguar suddenly went back and reconsidered everything she'd been saying. Now I gotta be clear here, bro. Jaguar's specific claims about individual people are still just her claims. They're not confirmed the same way sworn courtroom testimony is. But the overlap in the general picture is exactly why this conversation refuses to die down. It's that overlap that keeps pulling new viewers into her orbit every single week. So where does that leave us? You got a documented history of A-list women attending Diddy's parties for literal decades. No dispute there. And then you got Jaguar Wright, out here consistently talking about the deeper culture behind those parties, refusing to back down no matter how much heat she catches. Some of it lines up with actual testimony. Some of it is still just her word.
Look, I just want to start this video by saying, y'all need to go and apologize to this woman. Jaguar Wright was telling the truth this whole time. This whole time she was on the couch telling us about how Diddy operates, what he's been up to, what his parties are really like, what he's been doing to his women, his artists. Yeah, she was right this whole time, all along, but y'all was calling her crazy. Talking about she needs help, she's just jealous. I remember. Yeah. Oh, she needs some healing to do. She got some healing to do. Who keeps giving this woman a platform? She's full of crap. Yeah, what now? Because Diddy's in jail, and every single thing she was saying, she ain't tell no lie. Not that I know of. And you know what? On another note, any and everybody who's been with Diddy, right? At his parties, pictures with him, videos, they're all complicit and they're all guilty. At least from where I'm standing. Even his kids. You know what? Throw his mama in jail too.
Is she the one person brave enough to say what everybody else in the industry already knew? Or is she taking advantage of a moment to stay relevant? Bro, I genuinely want to know what you think. Drop it in the comments below. Anyway, this concludes today's video. Be sure to subscribe to LoafTube for future celebrity videos, and turn on that post notification bell so you don't miss out on any future uploads. Until then, see you in the next one.